Well, I invite all my younger friends to come forward. So wherever you are out there, in your bedroom, family room, tree fort, backyard, it's good to be together. Well, anyway, you've met Fred's grandfather before. He's a gentle old man. He's quiet. He's humble. He's wise. And one day, Fred comes up to his grandpa, and he said, "Grandpa, someday I'd like to just sit down and have a glass of Coke with Jesus." And Grandpa said, "Well, let's talk about that." So Grandpa gets up on his stool. Fred gets on his stool. There we go. And Grandpa has his cup of coffee. And he says, "Well, if you had a Coke with Jesus, or if I had a cup of coffee, what would you like to talk to Jesus about?" Well, I just have some basic questions like, why does there have to be war? Why do people have to be angry with each other? How come this has happened to the church and everything? And I'd just like to sit down and talk to him and find out what kind of Jesus he is. And Grandpa said, "Well, I'm not sure you can talk to Jesus, but you know what Jesus is like down deep in your soul." And Fred said, "I do, but it would just be fun someday for Jesus to walk into our house and just sit down at our kitchen table and we could talk." And as they were talking and sitting there, and Fred was wishing things were different, guess who came back? Good old flat Jesus. Did Lori ever know that we do the flat Jesus for 10 weeks in a row when she cut this guy on? I think this is the one. Well, anyway, all of a sudden in his cup of coffee, flat Jesus, and this, by the way, this is a cup of joy. Flat Jesus appears. And Fred goes, "Wait a minute, what are you doing here?" And Jesus said, "Well, I've been hanging out in this room for weeks. But are you going to stay?" "Well, no, I never stay. I have places to go and people to see. But I wanted you to know, Fred, that you do have Coke and coffee with Jesus." "Really?" "See, I live in people like your grandpa. You may not see me like this, and you may not think, but Fred, I came here to let you know, like that lesson that was just read, that whenever somebody loves you, whenever you show love to somebody else, I come alive and you're having coffee or whatever with me." And Fred said, "You don't look like my grandpa, do you?" "Well, look at that. The gentle eyes and his humility, yeah. Fred, I'm closer than you think. So next time you want to talk, come up here, pour a Coke, cup of coffee, and we can talk. My voice may be quiet, but remember, whenever you love one another, that's when I come alive." And do you think your pastor ever talks to Jesus? Well, he probably wouldn't have coffee with Jesus, but he might have a beer with Jesus. Right, Zach?